Sorry, yeah, I know it's been a while. Thanks for bearing with me. It's tough to write during the holiday seasons with having 2 kids, but I did promise people that I would write about the goings-on at the store that I work at. And after such a long time since I last wrote, a lot of shit has happened. Let me just start by saying that so far no one has died, so there's that at least. The crazy activity, though, has increased, and new things have been popping up. One of the creepiest newbies is the girl in the trash compactor. The first time I saw her, my heart almost stopped. It was the end of the day, or should I say night, considering it was 5 in the morning, and I was throwing the trash away through the chute, when suddenly, but calmly, I heard a soft sound. I couldn't make it out at first. It was just too soft, and then I heard it a little bit louder. It was a voice, a young girl's voice, and it was coming from the other side of the chute. "Hello?" I said with, let's say, a little apprehension. There was a rustling noise, and I could then see some garbage moving around when a delicate grey hand reached up and grabbed the other edge of the chute. Then another grey hand appeared, and then in between them the top of a head started to rise. It had thin, dirty blonde hair. It looked wet with some kind of nasty all over it, and as the head rose higher, 2 dead, angry, pale eyes peeked up over the edge of the chute's edge. I quickly closed and locked the chute. I try not to empty the trash anymore. Another new thing is the bird. Now, if you've been in a Lowe's store, then there might have been a chance that you've seen a bird or 2 flying around. I honestly really don't blame them though. It's warm and there are places to hide. It's free from predators, for the most part, and of course there's plenty of bird food. What we have though isn't really a bird per se. I mean, we call it the bird, but it's not really a bird. It can fly, it has wings, and it has a beak and feathers, but it also has other things as well. It has these spider-like legs that it uses to climb along walls and the ceiling when it's not zooming around. I one time saw it spin a web in the corner of the store. It caught another bird, which it ate, and I wish to God I hadn't seen that. It caught the bird, jabbed it with its 2 front legs, and its head split open, showing multiple wiggling things which it inserted into the flapping little bird. I watched in horror as the bird seemed to deflate and then melt. I had to turn away and swallow a verp. Now, you may not know what a verp is, but I damn near guarantee you that you've done it. Let me explain it simply. Vomit plus burp equals verp. So yeah, after I'd seen that thing, I had to swallow that little bit of partially digested nastiness. Not a good night. Then there was the night that the power went off. This caused me some undue nightmares. But, you might say, it's just a power outage. Anywhere else I would agree with you, but have you ever been in a bog box store during a power outage? It's creepy. Like it's almost an act against nature for those kinds of stores to be without power. Well, this, unlike anywhere else, is my Lowe's, and of course when the power went out, the strangeness started, but I'm getting ahead of myself. It was just before Christmas, and all through the Lowe's, not a customer was stirring, not even the DIY hose. Seriously though, I was stocking up over in plumbing, and I tell you that plumbing can be just as annoying as tool world or electrical. Not all the time, but when you get a shipment of joints and connectors, then you're going to be there for a few hours. Good thing I had a new audiobook. As I was saying though, I was stocking plumbing, minding my own business, when bam, total darkness. And I mean total. I waved my hand in front of my face. Nothing. My first thought was simply, fuck. Without hesitation, I pulled out my phone and switched on the light, and I was suddenly an outlast. My other phone, it's called a Zebra. It's our in-store phone that can be used to look up prices or locations and let us call each other. Well, my Zebra went off and I answered it. It was staticky, which was weird considering when was the last time you heard static on a phone? They cut out and break up, but static. Mine had static. I heard a voice that sounded like Mike, but I couldn't make out what he was saying. Then my phone cut out. Well, at least the light still worked, thank God. I yelled out, even though Lowe's is a big store, your voice can carry pretty far. But no one answered. I did hear something move in a couple of aisles over. "Hey!" I yelled, as I headed towards the noise. "Mike? Steve? John?" I turned the corner and saw someone. They were on the edge of my light, looking away from me. "John?" I asked. I thought it might be him. The person in front of me was wearing one of those blue Lowe's hats and a camo vest. In case you didn't know, Lowe's workers can wear two different types of vests. The classic red vest, which is for the average worker, and the camo vest, which I found out on the first day were for veterans. I thought that was pretty cool. I walked up and tapped his shoulder. "Hey, John, what happened to the—" The man turned around and I jerked my hand back in terror. The man's face wasn't there. Instead, there was a fleshy tube or tentacle or cord coming out from the middle of his face. The tube ran down to the ground and off into the darkness. It twitched every now and then, and I could see it pulsing. The man reached up towards me as a muffled groan issued out from him. I turned to run and abruptly was knocked on my ass as I bumped right into something. As my ass hit the ground, all the lights came on, and John was sitting on the ground as well, right in front of me. "The fuck, dude?" John said, confused. I jumped up and looked around. The tube man was gone. "Where'd he go?" I yelled. "Where'd who go?" John said as he stood up. When I mentioned the blackouts, he had no idea what I was talking about. He told me that the lights haven't even blinked, let alone gone out, and that I just seemed to have come out of nowhere, running right into him. I literally have no idea what happened, but I really don't want it to happen again. Some other updates. The thing in the garden centre has been quiet lately, which has been nice, but I believe it's because the watcher is now always standing right outside the fence. Whatever the watcher is, it is so bad that it scares the thing off, so I'm guessing that isn't such a good thing. Speaking about the watcher, this son of a bitch scared the shit out of me the other day. I was outside stocking some vases. Now that Christmas is over, we're starting to get in a lot of spring items like wind chimes and planters and vases. Anyway, I was stocking the vases which are located right against the fence. I was a bit nervous knowing how the watcher has been getting so close, but when I checked I saw him standing at the edge of the parking lot, and you know how big a Lowe's parking lot can be. So I knew that if he'd started walking, I would have at least a few minutes before he would be close, so I went to grab a box. I opened it and pulled out this blue-black ceramics vase. I looked at it for a moment, admiring the colour. It was really pretty. I turned around to put it on the shelf, and the watcher was right up against the fence. I haven't screamed that high pitch since my balls dropped. I went from baritone to soprano in 0.6 seconds. The vase was also a loss, along with my dignity. Danny has been really active as well, causing no end of mischief. Steve has been actively trying to hunt and kill him. Why? Let me tell you a little story. About 4 days ago, Steve set his phone down and walked away. Now, if you've read my previous parts, then you know that that's a bad idea. As you can guess, Danny swiped it. Steve even saw Danny take it. He told me that when he turned back into the aisle, Danny was holding the phone and actually flipping Steve off. Then he climbed up and over the rack. Steve was cussing up a storm, and I'm sorry, I was laughing. I told him it was his own damn fault for leaving his phone lying around. Steve did find his phone later on, but it was cracked and actually smoking. Believe it or not though, that's not even the worst part. It turned out that Steve was cheating on his girlfriend with, I kid you not, his ex-wife, and Danny had forwarded all their texts to Steve's girlfriend. It was not pretty. Steve had no idea how Danny had cracked his phone. I guessed that he didn't. He probably knew the password. Steve's phone wasn't one with a touch or face lock. It was just a simple code, and I figured that Danny had been watching us for a while, and since he likes to hang out on the top of the racks, he probably saw all of us punch in our codes one time or another, so that's something to really think about. So, now Steve is actively trying to hunt and kill Danny for ruining his life. As much as Danny annoys me, I don't believe that it's his fault. Well, not entirely. I mean, it's not Danny's fault that Steve was cheating, and it's not Danny's fault that Steve was too stupid not to delete those texts. When I pointed this out to Steve, he just told me to shut up and stormed off. The arm hasn't been seen for a while, and I'm not too upset about it. I hate that creepy thing and it can just stay away. But with things seemingly escalating, I'm sure we'll be seeing it again sooner than later. The new elevator button is showing up more. It's like it wants me to press it, and I'm not even about to. With the way things are right now, who the hell knows where it could go? and as far as I'm concerned, I'm sure as fuck not going to find out. I think that's just about it for now. With the holidays over, I hope to write more, but something tells me that things are going to come to a head soon. Mike told me that he's only seen the kind of activities that we're having now only once before, when he first started. When I asked him what happened last time, he took off his hat and just shook his head. If, and I mean if, it comes to a head like last time, Mike said, one or more of us might not make it out, but that's the extreme end. I'm sure it won't come to that. Damn it, Mike, could you be more ominous? I swear if it wasn't for the pay I make, I think that I would quit or transfer, but recently I found out that my wife works with a woman whose husband works at another Lowe's in the area, and that I get paid a lot in comparison, and I mean a lot, more than he does. This tells me that maybe someone in management, or maybe even higher up, might know what's going on at night here, and if that's true, why is it such a secret, and why do day shifts seem to not believe us about what happens when we tell them? Maybe I'm overthinking it, but something just really seems off. Anyway, I'm out and heading to bed. Have a Lowe's safe day.